Hi, this is Eric Townsend with the Law Eagles Minute. I am here today with the phenomenal realtor Greg Martin with Big Block Realty. He is up and coming, a young gun in real estate. He is bound to be a huge agent and is doing millions of dollars in sales and already competing with agents at the top. Greg is going to explain what he's done to establish his business so quickly, what he's been doing to stay at the top of his game, and what he's going to be doing to be the number one agent in San Diego and potentially in California someday. So thanks for being on, Greg. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. No, thank you for being on. I really appreciate it. So, you got a great story. It's pretty amazing how quickly you came up through the ranks. You've only been doing this a couple of years, correct?
Yeah, I got my license in March or April of 2017, right at the very end of March, beginning April 2017. So just over 3 years now.
And you're already scratching at that door to the top, huh?
I'm trying to. Maybe it'll open. Maybe they'll let me in soon.
Don't be so humble, man. Don't be so humble. I know you're there. That's awesome, man. What have you done? That's a pretty phenomenal trip. Like, a lot of people, it takes them years to just even get the wheels cranking in real estate. What'd you do? How'd you get up there so fast?
I'd say the name of the game with any sales job, which is essentially what real estate is just meeting as many people as you can and seeing who has a challenge that needs to be solved and seeing if you can provide a service to solve that challenge. I've been in customer relationship type prospecting sales jobs for pretty much my entire adult life. So it was a pretty natural transition to get into real estate. Immediately prior to this, I sold solar for Solar City for 3 years from 2014 to 2017. I absolutely loved it. I was really good at it. All of my clients told me I was good at it. I guess I should just say that my clients said I was really good at it. It doesn't matter what I think about myself. It matters what my clients think.
It's all about the clients, right?
Right, exactly. So in that time at Solar City, I learned I operated really well, kind of left by myself to go prospect on my own. And I actually sold a bunch of realtors solar for their houses. And a lot of them said, you should just do real estate. So I eventually listened. It took 3 years to do it, but I did. And I got my license and just kind of led into real estate as opposed to other things. So
cool. You list quite a few properties too, I've noticed. So you have quite a few listings. You take quite a few. When you do in this new normal that we're in with the coronavirus and these stay-at-home orders, how are you doing listing presentations with clients, or how do you plan on doing listing presentations?
Zoom, just like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Zoom or FaceTime, even just depending on what app that they have, any sort of video device, so that they can walk me around their house in this environment would be ideal. So
cool. For agents that are just beginning their journey into real estate, what's the importance of being able to have a client walk you through their house? What does that do for you as a real estate agent?
Well, you got to just let's pretend coronavirus didn't exist. In a normal situation, you've got to go see their house so you can understand what the layout looks like. So is it actually a 2-bedroom, 1 bath like it says on the tax record, or did they do an unpermitted addition? What is the layout? What is the flow? There's intangible things that you can't read on a piece of paper that you get when you actually go to the property. So obviously being there in person is going to be the best thing. But since we can't do that, the next step is going to be doing something through a video conferencing, so that you can figure out all of the stuff that you can't learn from a piece of paper by actually being there as best as you can.
Gotcha. Do you see that as being a viable, moving forward in the future, do you see that being a viable thing where instead of even having to go to listing presentations, people would just alternatively use Zoom instead, rather than spending, half their day planning on you to come to do a presentation and everything else, just instead jumping on the Zoom call?
So, this kind of begs the bigger question, what changes are going to stay and what changes will go back, what will go back to normal after this all ends. Because, the whole coronavirus thing will come to an end and we'll go back to some state of normal. But, there will be industries that have a permanent effect. I think that the answer is some agents will adopt this, some agents will not. I think it could be a good way to do to have some sort of time savings. If you are a listing agent, you can have a quick walkthrough of a property. Maybe if you're a listing agent that has some sort of disability, you can't go to a property, you could still have a video walkthrough from your client and still be a great agent. Or if you have an agent or clients that aren't necessarily ready to have somebody come into their house yet, that's a good way to get the process started. So I think that there will be a lot of adoption of that moving forward.
Cool.
For me personally, I like being face-to-face with people. I would rather be sitting in the room with you right now talking face-to-face than doing this. I know a lot of people are like that. What do you call it? Like belly to belly.
Yeah.
So my idea of how I would use Zoom is a way to get in the door to meet people face to face, because there's always going to be things that you see as a realtor or whatever profession that you're in that you won't be able to see through a screen. So
right.
I would use it moving forward as a way to get to that next step, to get in their house. So, and honestly, most of my prospecting for listings for the past 3 years has been door knocking. I almost exclusively door knock in the 92116 zip code. I just go to Kensington, Normal Heights, University Heights, and I just do a loop. And I'm always passing out flyers like, hey, here's a property I just sold. Here's an open house I'm doing. Here's a property that's coming up. No, it's just a way to start the conversation with that owner to say, hey, are you happy where you're at, or are you thinking about changing? So as a door knocker, obviously I can't do that right now.
Yeah, right.
I can't go, it's not a good idea for anybody. But my goal, I'm always wanting to be face to face. So that would be the ultimate goal, is to meet them at their property. And then if they want to give me a tour, then that's great. So
cool. I see, I'm going to go to your website real quick, because I noticed that you have quite a few followers on your page.
Facebook page?
Yeah. Am I sharing? Do you see that?
Yeah.
You see that? Okay, perfect. So here's your Facebook page. I like your layout. You've got a lot of good content on here for clients. That's great. Yeah, absolutely. It's really good stuff. So, I see you got a lot of followers on here. You were telling me a story about you had a client that had been watching your Facebook for a couple years, and then tell us about that. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, so I'm very active on social media, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Those are the 3 that I use all the time. They're more or less prospecting tools for me to show, like, hey, here's stuff that I'm doing with real estate. Here's stuff about me, but mostly about like real estate stuff. And so I post like a couple of times a week, sometimes every day. Just depending on how active I am. A lot of times the posts that I have are just the funny things that I see in properties. I get a lot of feedback about the floors. Like if you scroll down a little bit, this page right here, this shot I've done probably a couple hundred times, just me with my shoes and whatever cool bathroom or kitchen or living room floors that I see. And there's actually an Instagram tag called I have this thing with floors, and it's a whole page, and it's just people with their feet just like this with whatever cool floors they see around the world.
You got a weird, is it a foot fetish or a floor fetish? What is it?
I don't know. Maybe it's both.
That's awesome.
But I have a lot of people that really like those shots. And I think the reason they like it is they're like, what can I envision those floors in my house? Do I like those floors? Do I not like those floors? But I'm just trying to provide content that I think people will find interesting.
Yeah. Those are cool. That is a cool floor. Like those tiles are.
Penny tile is what they're called, because they're about the size of a penny.
That's cool. They look like they're almost like, Are they like clear? Are they kind of like a clearish, or is that
Yeah,
just
it's
a
like
really heavy sheen?
it's kind of like an opaque blue, and then I mean they come in like a 12 by 12, and then you grout over the middle of it, so it looks like it's all one piece of tile.
Oh, no way.
Well, at least that's my understanding of how it works. I'm not a contractor, so maybe a contractor will be watching this and go, "He didn't know what he's talking about." But that's how I believe that they install them. So it comes out looking really nice. So, but
Cool.
anyways, back to your question. I've actually had several clients who hit. I've met at parties before. They were friends of friends, and somehow over the past years, we've become friends on Facebook. And maybe I haven't seen them in a while, but they're like acquaintances or friends of friends. And then I've had a couple of them hit me up on Facebook and say, "Hey, I've been watching your stuff for years now. I love what you're posting. I'm finally ready to go buy a house. Let's meet up for coffee."
So cool, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And
It's crazy too. Go ahead.
the one I was just thinking of, she bought a house up in Escondido, nicest woman ever. She'd been watching my stuff for 2 years, and then we had coffee, and it worked out really well. So, and it was all from Facebook. So
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I see. So we were talking earlier, and I see that you're always open. I'm going to test that out. You know that, right?
yeah.
So
You're gonna text me at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I want to see what happens. I just.
That's actually funny that you say that. I actually just got a review from a client who if you go to my reviews, you can actually read what they said. I think it's my last one. Yeah, Samantha. I sold them a house up in San Marcos. I sold their condo in Alvarado area, kind of
Just recently.
the 8 and Home Depot area. And
Okay.
then I bought a house up in San Marcos. But if you look where that emoji is, she said,
Yeah.
I also don't think he sleeps because he answers texts so quickly.
That's crazy. Well, we'll see.
House last summer, but they just posted this, so I just thought that was funny because my girlfriend would probably say like, "You're always on your phone." And I'm like, "Yeah, the clients need me." Like, care for them.
I'm the same way. I actually have to turn mine on do not disturb for the night, because if I hear my phone go off, I will get up and I will respond to a text in the middle of the night if I don't do it.
I must do it.
Exactly. That's cool. I want to show something to the audience as well, because I was so proud of myself for climbing Mount Whitney, which is a huge accomplishment, Right. But so I noticed on Greg's page here that he has some rock climbing, and this is you, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's in Owens River Gorge, which is just outside of Bishop, California, kind of near a little bit south of Mammoth. If you go up the east side of the Sierras up to 395, about 5 hours, you'll hit Bishop.
Kind of on the way, like as if you were going through, as if you were going to Mount Whitney, like the same direction, right?
Yeah, well, Mount Whitney is a little bit south. So you'd hit Mount Whitney first in a town called Lone Pine, and then just north of that is Bishop, and then there's Mammoth.
Gotcha.
So this rock climbing photo is a little bit north of Bishop in a place called Owens River Gorge. Super cool spot. So
this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. But you told me that you climbed Mount Whitney. How? Can you explain it to the audience?
I rock climbed the face of it.
You're crazy, man. I thought I was gonna die just doing a simple little hike up Mount Whitney. You climbed the face of that thing.
Yeah, we did it. I did it with 3 friends in September of 2018, about a year and a half ago.
Wow.
Yeah, we hiked up to the lake. That's Iceberg Lake. That's at the base of it. And then the next day we climbed the face and then hiked back down, slept again, and then hiked back out. So it was a pretty fun experience. Climbing all the way up to 14.5. I mean, it's not hiking it in a day like you did. That's pretty impressive physically. So
yeah, it was hard, but
that.
Yeah. I was scared the crap out of me just going through the ridgebacks, because every time there was another opening, the wind would come through and I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die. Wind's going to hit me and kill me. But, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, when you're at 12. Oh, it was really nice. It was a sunny day. There wasn't any wind. It was, we used ropes everybody has always asked me the first question out of their mouth when I say, "Oh, I'm a rock climber." They're always like, "Do you free solo? Have you seen free solo like Alex Honnold?" Yes, I've seen it. No, I don't free solo. I use ropes. Very safe. I value my life. I'm sure Alex does too. But
Good.
it's actually a very, very safe sport. I mean, nothing is 100% safe, but like anything. But when you use ropes, the injury rate of the sport is actually very low as compared to skiing at Mammoth. So,
Cool.
but regardless, it's a fun time. I love it. It's a great way to get outside and experience the outdoors. So
Nice.
as soon as we're all able to do that again.
So going back to that review, so that client that was a review in April. So you're still getting transactions closed.
I actually have one in escrow right now in Chula Vista. But yeah, they just posted that review. So there's actually two things we can touch on right now. One of the things I've been doing lately to manage some of the downtime in the midst of this shutdown is reaching back to all of my old clients to see if there's any way I can help them out in this environment, to network with them. And one of the kind of how that what that led to was asking for reviews from them, which I hadn't really done in the past. So I called all of my recent clients, or all my clients for the past 3 years, and just asked them, "Hey, do you mind going on to Facebook and Yelp and writing me a review?" And about 8 or so did, all within the past few weeks. So full disclosure, those clients bought, I think it was in August of last year, but they just posted that review because I never asked them to do it before until now. So that's
Gotcha.
just my way of kind of using this downtime to build up my social media presence and online presence with views straight from the horse's mouth from my clients who are happy. So
Cool. That's awesome. I need to do that. I need to do more of that.
I mean,
That's always a good thing to have reviews.
It was really interesting. Kind of like my hesitation was all within myself. I was originally very scared to ask them, like, what if I don't want to be that guy who's like, "Hey, can you write me a review?" I kind of felt like I would be a desperate ask. But having talked to a couple of different people and advisors and friends, they were like, if they're happy with your service, why would they not write that? Of course they're going to brag about it. If they go to a restaurant and they're happy with that restaurant, they're going to brag about it. So I was pretty overwhelmed. Every single person I asked, they said, absolutely, we'll do it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it was a fun experience having that. So that was just one of the things that I've been doing over this past several weeks to help with the future business. So
cool.
But going back to your other question, yes, I still have business closing. I have one in escrow, a buyer down in Chula Vista. And that's actually a subject I wanted to talk to you and anybody who's watching this video about is, how this is changing or how this is affecting the real estate market.
The COVID, the coronavirus, and the stay at home.
Yep, exactly. So,
and the future social distancing, like what we're gonna have moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Immediately, I wanted to kind of address what I'm experiencing as an agent in this market. That buyer that we're in escrow in Chula Vista, we submitted 2 offers on 2 different properties. The first one was in Alpine, probably 2.5 weeks ago. There were 5 offers on the property before we put ours in. And I think they got a couple more after we put ours in. And it was on the market for like a couple of days, and it sold over asking. In the midst of the COVID coronavirus shutdown, there was a bidding war on this property in Alpine.
Wow.
Wild, right? You would have thought like it would have been dead. That's what I thought when I first saw that the state was shut down. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is all going to shut down. Real estate's going to stop entirely.
Whoa. So you have all this competition. How'd you get the deal?
So that house in Alpine we didn't get. We got bid out.
So where did you got them into another place?
Yeah, we found another place in Chula Vista, which they ended up liking better.
Gotcha.
And we submitted our offer, and they already had 3 offers on the property.
Oh wow! So you beat that one out.
Yeah, we got that one. But I think we were the fourth offer.
Wow.
And I was thinking, telling my buyers like, oh, it's going to slow down. And now I have this one buyer who we're going up against bidding wars. And so I took it as like, okay, is this isolated? Is this just me? So I called a couple of my other real estate friends who are in the business and they're experiencing similar things.
Oh, that's
So
great. That's awesome. I've been really concerned about that myself because what's going on in the market? Should I put my house up for sale? Should I try to, what should I do? What's the right thing to do right now? And
I
I'm
want
worried
to,
about we're a city that has a lot of tourism. Like that's one of our huge, driving forces in our economy. So that's had me concerned. At the same time, I think we're still going to have that attraction to the area because, tourism isn't what's, buying houses. It's people that want to live in San Diego that's buying it. That's what's maintaining house prices and, the desirability of the area. So,
yeah, this is a subject I have with all of my buyers who are thinking about buying in San Diego. The thing that drives people to San Diego predominantly is the weather. That's why I came down here 11 years ago. That's why most of the people I talk to, they come because it's near the coast, there's great beaches, the weather, it's a temperate climate. Obviously, there's lots of different reasons, but the overarching general answer you're going to get is they love the weather. It's a beautiful city. Why would anybody leave? So that's something that's outside of human control, like the weather. We cannot control that. A lot of people wish that we could, but we can't. It's not like Chicago where the real estate prices are driven up because there's a whole lot of car manufacturing plants there, and then now it's a ghost town. So given that information, my thought looking forward is it's always going to be a desirable place to live, which means demand will always be high here, which means as an investor, it's a good spot to be an investor in real estate. That's my theory. Who knows if that's right or wrong, if I'm totally out of my mind, but that's just coming from a logical place. That's how I see it. That's why people invest here and not why they stay, which means it's a good place to be an investor.
definitely.
So that's what
It's a good place. It's a good place for an investor can you explain why it's a good place for an investor? I know there's a lot of factors that go into it, like vacancy rates and, rental values and cap rates and all these different things that go into it. Why is San Diego good?
Just because it's a transient society, so there's always people. We have military coming and going all the time. There's a lot of people that come to San Diego for the weather and then they stay for a year and they leave. There's a lot of tourism, as you had just said. So as an investor, if you're renting out property, either short or long term, in general, you're gonna have renters there all the time. So
Cool. So low vacancies.
yeah. So I guess going back to what I was saying was, I originally thought this coronavirus thing was going to really slow down the market, but my experience as an agent has been the opposite. Even yesterday morning, I was showing a buyer in Normal Heights, a condo. It was a little 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, and we're in there talking about whether or not he wanted to make an offer, and another agent rolls up with her client while we're there. It was Tuesday morning at 10:30.
Wow.
Yeah, and usually when you're at a property and other people are lining up behind you, that usually means like there's people like in line to see that place.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense.
And I was like, what? Like, I thought we were going to be the only ones here, So
Wow.
it's been a different experience for me. And so I've been telling all of my buyers, like, if demand is staying this high in the midst of this, it's likely that property values will not be affected too much. Maybe it's too soon to tell because there's a lot of economic factors that people are saying they're not going to change. People are saying they will change. I don't know. I can't predict the future. All I can speak to is what I'm currently experiencing as an agent, and I'm telling all of my buyers that the lack of inventory, which is down a third from 2019, is likely to be a greater impact on real estate prices than other economic factors.
Gotcha. Thank God we got back to fundamentals on loans. Could you imagine if we had like the 2008 and this happen at the same time?
Yeah.
Woo, that would be bad news.
Yeah, well, 08 was caused by lending practices. This is something that's entirely different. So
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If we had bad lending practices for the last if 2008 had never happened and it was, that it was a bubble that was just now coming to roost.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, could you imagine? It's almost good that it happened in 2008 rather than having it happen now. Cool. Well, hey, this has been some great information. What are you going to do moving forward? Like, how are you going to do business moving forward? How are you going to position yourself to be the number one agent? I know that you get embarrassed when I say that, but when you become the number one agent, what are you doing to do that? How are you going to do that?
When I become the number one agent, right? Yeah. I always like to say I'm going to be the number one agent that I can be. I'm not a hyper competitive guy. So if somebody else does better than me, then awesome, great,
cool.
Good for them.
Your clients probably appreciate that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm. And this is very cliche, but I'm very client centered. I want to make sure my clients are happy, and if they're happy, then I'm happy. I know probably everybody says that, and it sounds like everybody else, but it's the truth. Whether my prospects decide to believe that or not that's up to them.
Yeah, clients' wants are they're like a box of chocolates, right? You never know what you're gonna.
Yeah, right. So moving forward, I guess taking a step back, most of my deals, most of my clients that I meet come from door knocking and open houses, both of which I cannot do right now.
Yep.
So that's definitely been a disruptor in my prospecting. So I've really heavily shifted towards social media and doing virtual open houses. Coincidentally, it's something I've done for a long time where I do video walkthroughs of properties. I'll go to houses that now are vacant. Yeah, you can probably go onto my social media and there's probably a video. Oh yeah, that's one right there.
Which one? Where?
Yeah. Yeah, that was me wearing my lifeguard shirt.
Nice.
Mask and my gloves, following the rules.
You had some other ones too. I know I saw a few other ones.
Yeah, I do a bunch of them. Yeah, that's another one. This was pre-corona.
This is for units, right? A quadplex, 4 units?
Yep, had a good cap rate down in Cherokee Point. Great investor, buy and hold investor property. So I basically have been doing videos for social media and doing walkthroughs of properties because people still want to go through properties just like that one right there and see them. But if they can't actually leave their house and go to the house and see it, then I've been trying to bring it to them. So gotcha. I have a phone stabilizer and I just do walkthroughs and kind of highlight all of the main points of this property. This one is in Normal Heights. That had a great view on north of Adams, looking east there. And that way people can kind of see themselves in the house without actually having to leave their house. Yeah. Cool.
That's awesome, man. The video is really good. So you use a phone stabilizer to get that shot so good?
Yep. Yeah, it's called a gimbal. It's like $150.
Cool.
Super simple. So I've been doing a lot of those. And then just text messaging people a lot.
It almost looks like someone's videotaping you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's because the thing has 3 gyroscopic stabilizers in there. So it holds it really steady. So, no one can hold a perfectly steady hand.
Yeah.
So that makes it much more of like a watchable video quality for social media.
Cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Very cool. No, it sounds like you're still doing it, so that's good.
Trying.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, a lot of people, it's great to hear stories like this, and I think it's really good for my audience and people that are watching this to know that, hey, the economy is going to move forward. We're going to continue to move. We're going to continue to work. It's scary times right now, but it's good to see people like you, taking leadership positions, leadership roles, saying, hey, we're going to continue. We're going to move forward. We're going to do business. That's what I'm trying to do with my business. I see you're doing it with yours, and hopefully we get that positive message out there to the public.
Yeah, absolutely. I am an optimist at heart, so maybe my view is jaded in that way. But
me too. I'm the same way.
There's that age-old saying. Again, I sound cliche, but everything's going to work out in the end.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to evolve, but we're humans. We can do that, and we can move forward. Yeah, the 2008 crash happened. Guess what? We survived, and here we are. And that was about as bad as it can get. So
yeah, you look at the New Deal back in the 30s. I mean, you look at that, and you look at how we came out of that. we came out of that gangbusters, you know, in the United States. It was a tough time. I mean, the depression sucked, but after it, we came out
Yeah.
really great. I mean,
Yeah.
it was fantastic. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just thankful to be in this market and be able to sell houses, and all I'm going to continue to do is to continue prospecting just like I always done. I enjoy it. I enjoy meeting people, and finding the people that have a challenge that I can provide a solution, you know, in whatever way possible. That's all I've ever wanted to do, and I'm just going to stay that course and ride the wave.
that's awesome, man. I am going to give me 1 second. I'm going to share your information again. So here's your information. So, you know, if anybody wants to reach out to Greg, I'm going to end it on that note. That was a great note to end it on. And thank you for being here. If you guys need to get in touch with Greg, all of his information is on the screen. You can call or text him at 619-952-4145, or you can email him at gregmartinrealtor@gmail.com.
Yep, you got it.
And it's realtor without an A in the middle. There is an A in the middle, but there's not two A's. So
yeah, just realtor.
Realtor, not real A-ator. Yeah. Cool, man. All right. Well, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric. Have a great day.
You too.